ETF Inspector. It's Friday, May 23rd, and this will be the video for coverage of YieldMax individual option income strategy funds for Advanced Micro Devices, Amazon, Apple, Meta, Google or Alphabet, Microsoft, and Netflix. Before we get started, just want to let you guys know I am on X or Twitter at ETF_inspector1 or just ETF Inspector, and I post things letting you know when videos are premiering or coming, things like that. So, all right, let's take a look. So we downloaded the intraday trades file from YieldMax. And as we go through, obviously on Friday, lots of trades. So we have 3 for APLY, handful for AMZY, handful for GOOY, FBY, I don't know how I would say that, NFLY, got a handful, MSFO. So I think pretty much everything except for AMDY. And also, if you're interested in the weekly pairs, my video for ALTY and LFGY is actually premiering. Well, by the time this video gets uploaded, it will be done premiering, but you'll be able to go back and check it out. All right, so we'll start. We'll just go in alphabetical order. AMDY. AMD closed at 110.31. AMDY at 7.57. It was an all-around red day. If you noticed on the thumbnail, everything was red. Every stock that's being covered here and every fund covering it. Now, let's see. Just a note, the YieldMax fund outperformed AMD. Slightly worse on Amazon. Outperformed Apple. Outperformed Meta. Slightly worse on Alphabet. Outperformed Microsoft and outperformed Netflix. So overall, for a bad day, it wasn't so bad in YieldMax land. Okay, so AMDY, previous declaration was on April 30th. Next one is next week. So if you have any of the Group C holdings, this coming Wednesday will be your declaration day. All right, and I'll try to do a little bit of a guesstimate on the video that I put out for the week look ahead. I don't have enough data. I don't have a full month's worth of data to go off of, so it will be very much a guess part of the guesstimate. But there's other ways that we do it using the 30-day IV. So I should be able to get fairly close. Okay. So they've got a July 18th 110 synthetic, well, 12,855 of them. That's currently worth just under $2 million. Most of the money, as always, is in treasuries. And their calls are sold out to next week at almost split evenly between 117 and 118, and they are 6 and nearly 7% out of the money. AMDY is a $140 million fund at the time. It would cost approximately $711,000 to close all these options out right now, but they should expire worthless if it doesn't go up by 6%. So all that will turn into profit as time decays. They actually lost a little bit of, not lost, but people sold out of the fund, I'll say. So 50,000 less outstanding shares. The NAV and the stock price generally stay within a few cents of each other. Okay. So like I said, they didn't have any trades today, but since I only make videos, not daily, we didn't go over yesterday's trades, which was when they rolled this week's stuff to next week. So obviously it was a win. They closed out for 3 cents, and sold next week's for 119. So they made a little over $500,000 on the trading day yesterday. Only had one other day where they traded this past week, and they made $600,000 on that one. Amazon's AMZY, they are Group D, so they will be the week after next with their declaration. Amazon closed at 200, AMZY at 1558. There's 16 million outstanding shares, no change since last reported. It's a $258 million fund. Their synthetic is worth a lot, $24 million. So that's worth well over $1 per share whenever they close that out. But it won't be happening anytime soon because they're out till July 18th. They're at 185. So we don't need to talk about any of these because these are the ones that expired today and got rolled out to next week. We don't have the current information on them. That'll come out tomorrow morning. So the only call left was the 207.50. That's 3.24% out of the money for next Friday. So as of right now, that would cost over $1 million to close out. But if it doesn't go up 3.24%, then that $1 million becomes money we get to keep. All right, so AMZY did have trades yesterday and today. So they closed out their 210s and sold 207.50s for next week. 6,000 contracts of them, made $750,000. And then today they closed out their 207.50s for this Friday, their 210s for this Friday, and they sold all 205s for next Friday and profited $838,000. So very good couple of days. They had a rough Monday. I think that was Monday, maybe Tuesday. Yeah, that's Tuesday. But overall, a winning week for AMZY. APLY is Group D as well, so they will be the week after next declaring their distribution. Apple closed at 195.27, APLY at 12.64. There's $123 million in the fund. There was an increase of 150,000, taking outstanding shares up to 9.5 million. So the NAV actually won't update until I get all the holdings information tomorrow morning, and I promise it'll be real close to 12.64. Synthetic on this one's actually underwater. It would cost money to close out, so but there's still time. It's good till July 20th, 210. So we just need Apple to go above 210 by July 20th. For right now, we don't want it to go over 210 next week because there's 2,970 contracts sold for 205. So these contracts down here, the 210s, they were closed out during the trading today. What else on this screen? 123 million. I don't know if I said that in the fund, and 500,000 is what it would cost to close out the current option trades. They had trades on that we haven't spoken about so far on Thursday and Friday. Thursday, they were closing 212.50s and 215s. They paid 3 cents and 5 cents, so big wins. They opened up. This up here was, I might have to look back and make sure I didn't miss that. This was just adding to the synthetic position. So they actually made money, right? Because since it's going against them, then selling the puts actually makes more money at this current time. So 150 more contracts, and then they sold 207.50s for next week, 205s for next week, and 205s for next week. Overall, making $452,000 yesterday. And then they closed the 212.50s for next week and sold more 205s, making another $108,000. So on the trading week, they had winning days on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday with no trades on Tuesday. So it was a good week for APLY. Take a sip of water. All right. FBY. If you've got these guys, congratulations. You got a nice distribution payout in your account today, probably first thing this morning. So you got 63.69 cents per share. Meta closed at 627.06 with FBY at 15.45. There was an increase in shares of 125,000, bringing it up just under 10 million outstanding shares. There's $155 million in the fund. This is another one where currently the synthetic is against them. It's out till July 18th for 660, so it would cost 4.5 million to close. But again, the synthetic is basically just a placeholder. It's instead of holding the shares, they're really not trying to select a strike price that makes them money on the synthetic. They are looking to extract time value out of everything. So most of these options, as of the start of today, that's when you get the holdings, have been traded and rolled the next week. So we don't care about these percentages in or out of the money. They have a 655 call, 1,200 contracts that are, I don't know why I didn't color that, 4.46% out of the money for next week. And then the trades they made today, they also have 425s or 642.50, I'm sorry, and 645. They closed out their 645s today for 5 cents and 652.50s for 3 cents. Big wins, making nearly 500,000 today. Yesterday they had trades as well. Closed out their 660s for 34 cents. Opened 655s for the following week for $5.16. And then they purchase the other side of that call spread. That's kind of their protection or their insurance. So they paid $1.34 for those. Similarly, they paid $1.37 and $1.27 for the insurance policies today. But they made $421,000 trading yesterday. Like we said, it was payout this week, so the Monday starts the new trades. So they didn't trade anything on Monday, nothing on Tuesday, Wednesday. They lost $340,000 trading, but then they made over $900,000 on Thursday and Friday. So they're off to a decent start, and we will be able to get a full month on these guys as they go because we caught the starting point here. All right. GOOY is Group A. They've got 19 days till declaration. Alphabet ended at 168.47. GOOY at 12.09. A lot of people sold out of the fund. 400,000 shares down to 9.1 million. There's $111 million being managed in this fund. They have synthetic position 6,555 contracts at 160 out till July. So again, this won't get closed out during this 4-week cycle, but it's worth $7.5 million. So whenever it does, that'll help add to the distribution. As of right now, it's coming out to less than $1 a share. These got traded today and rolled, so we don't care about the percentage in or out of the money. And again, I'm slipping. This should be colored green. We have our coloring system. Red would be in the money and going to cost to close out. Yellow close to or within 5% of the money, and then green greater than 5% out of the money. Trades, they had trades yesterday and today that we haven't talked about yet. So yesterday they took some losses, it looks like, but to close their 160s. Oh, no, I'm sorry, this isn't a loss. This is adding to the synthetic, right? See, July 18th 160s. No, taking away from the synthetic. I'm sorry, they were close. this must have been in relation to the loss in shares. So they were closing out some, and then they had to close out the options to go with them. So that was kind of a forced situation. And actually, it wasn't a loss, right? Because they made $16.95 on selling the calls, and they only paid $3.98 to close the puts. All right. But yesterday's bigger trade, 170s, they paid $6.24 to close them. That's brutal, especially since today the stock closed under 168. So these would have ended worthless, but instead 4,600 contracts times 100 shares per contract times $6.24 to close these out. They lost $2.87 million that they didn't have to, but hindsight's 2020. And they rolled them to next week 180. Today they closed out this week's 172.50. You see, for 6 cents. Yep. And they opened 172.50s next week for 155 and 156 each. More closing out of the synthetic. Again, you see the July 18th. So they had to buy the call. No, I'm sorry. Man, I'm messing up. Okay, now this was adding to the synthetic. Buying calls, selling puts. That's why this looks like a loss. That's why today looks like a loss. But realistically, this was money came in, they bought into the synthetic, and then they made trades. So trading-wise, they did well. But having to buy into the synthetic after it's already moved up a lot is what cost them. But big picture, this week they lost $61,000 on Monday, almost $4 million on Thursday, and $81,000 on Friday. So it wasn't a good week. Microsoft, also Group C. So we cover a handful of Group C's in this video. Microsoft closed at 450.18, MSFO at 1748. They declare next Wednesday. Again, stick around, or not stick around, but watch for the other video that comes out before trading starts next week. It'll be the week look ahead and guesstimates. These got closed out already in the trading, so no need to talk about them. Actually, all of them did, because these are the sells and these are the buys. So their synthetic is at July 18th, 435. So they are $15 in their favor, worth $6 million with 6-ish million shares. So currently the synthetic is worth nearly $1 per share when it gets closed out. There's $118 million being managed in the fund. And they've only been trading, they opened all these last Friday, and now they're closing them all this Friday. Looks like they're going to be wins. Buying to close for 7 cents, buying to close for 12 cents. Selling out till next Friday, $457.50 for a little over $2 each time. So they made $451,000 trading this week. Last but not least, NFLY, again, another Group C, declaring next week on Wednesday. Netflix ended at 1185.39, NFLY at 1865. There's a pretty large increase, 200,000 outstanding shares, bringing it up to an even 8 million. There's nearly $150 million being managed into this fund. Another July 18th synthetic at 1140, so that's worth $7 million. Again, just under $1 per share synthetic value, but you won't see that until July. Most options got rolled today, obviously, because they were closing on the 23rd. So they do have 419 contracts till next Friday, 12/25. Those are 3.34% out of the money. Yesterday they traded closed their 1230s for 56 cents and sold 1225s for the following week, $8 a piece. So that was a win, 250,000. And then today they closed out the rest of their May 23rds, 1220s for 18 cents, 1220s for 16 cents, 1220s for 17 cents. So all wins, and they sold 1210s, 1210s, and 1205s. $9 a share, 852, 865, making $560,000 trading today. So for the trading week, they lost on Wednesday, 250,000, made 250 the next day on Thursday, and then made another 560 yesterday. All right, so that's all the trades and holdings for the 7 YieldMax individual option income strategy funds that I cover. If you like the more popular ones, obviously there's probably no way you're watching my video but haven't heard of Retire on Dividends, but just in case you haven't, he covers the major ones and he does a great job doing it. So check him out. It's time for the dad joke of the day. So before I do that, thank you for watching. Thank you for the comments, the feedback. I appreciate it. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. And here we go. Why are bicycles always exhausted? Because they're too tired. All right. Thank you. Have a great Memorial Day weekend.